When I started my FPV journey, I put money into the DJI Avata, into the remote, goggles. I put a lot of money and time into learning how to fly. That ended up costing me more money because I crashed my drone multiple times, and I know I'm not alone. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to fly FPV without breaking the bank. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is KrisLuckPhoto. I am a professional drone pilot and wildlife photographer here in beautiful Kodiak, Alaska. And in this video, I'm going to inspire you to learn FPV like this here, learn to fly something like this for just $200. If you're looking to begin your FPV journey and you see the $200 price tag, you're probably getting a cheap FPV remote, some cheap goggles, a cheap FPV fly kit, maybe fly around the house or whatnot. And honestly, I just don't think those work. They're certainly cheap, but I found a better way, and I wish I knew this sooner. So I'm going to recommend that you just buy the remote first before you buy a drone. This DJI FPV remote is $200, and this is the version 3. They have a version 2, and you can buy that controller as well. It works. There's other controllers that I would recommend in the description. If you're familiar with DJI, I honestly think sticking with the DJI will be your best bet, and just get the DJI remote controller. That's what I use, and I haven't had any issues so far. Some people in the professional FPV world will say, don't get the DJI remote, get Crossfire or something. I never went that route, and I haven't had any issues, knock on wood. So what I recommend, instead of doing all of that mumbo jumbo and buying stuff that you're not going to ever use again, you're going to always use the remote. So you can buy just the remote, and then you go ahead and plug it into your computer. You're going to download a program or a game simulator, drone simulator on Steam. It is $10 called Liftoff, and basically it is an FPV drone simulator. It's worked really good for me, and I've learned so much on that. You're learning how to fly for free. It's very realistic, and if you crash, it's just a game. It's not a big deal. If you notice, I got a few action cameras here, and if you take a look at this one, that has been smashed pretty bad in a little FPV accident before. So it's gonna happen to everyone, beginner or pro, but why crash unnecessarily just because you didn't know what you were doing and you pressed the wrong button on accident? That's why I love Liftoff so much. Not only can you just mess around and just play in Liftoff and learn things, but what you also do, and what worked for me, was I got comfortable in Liftoff, and then I go into the real world, fly my drone, and I'd be like, okay, this is what I need to work on for next flight. So I practice in the simulator, come back, that feels better, find new things to work on. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, or if you had weather like I have for the past 30 days of just nonstop rain and wind, you can't get out and fly. So keeping Liftoff on my computer is a good way to just keep practicing and not lose the FPV touch. Liftoff has many drones and maps, so you can practice with the kind of drone style you want to learn and a kind of map that you want to learn. One of my favorite maps is called like Surtur or something. It's basically like Iceland, and where I live in Alaska, it's got mountains, it's got churches. One of my favorite shots was orbiting around a church in Liftoff, and then taking that into my real world in Kodiak and flying around a Russian Orthodox church when I first was learning, and I felt so confident flying around that church. I honestly forgot it was real life, and I just had a lot of fun, and I flew back home, landed, and yeah, that's how I got my real first FPV shot that I was like, I did it. Like, I actually did it, no issues. And all thanks to Liftoff. I'm not going to teach you how to fly in this video because I'm going to make another video in the near future, FPV basics for beginners. But I do want to say one thing. When you download Liftoff and you first load it up, you're going to plug in your controller, and you're going to have to fine-tune and calibrate the controller to your game. So what you're going to want to do is just learn a few things, and step one is, before you even download Steam or Liftoff, whatever, you're going to need to change your thumbstick. And I'm not going to explain how to do it, but basically it comes with a Allen wrench. You take this flap off and then you loosen this stick in the back, and that's how you make the throttle control stick stay wherever you put it. I'm not going to get in depth into that because that's not really part of this video, but it kind of is, because you don't want to fly with a loose stick on your throttle. So that's step one, making sure your left stick is nice and tight. Wherever you leave it is where it stays. That's the most important thing with your FPV remote when it comes to flying with an FPV drone. Once you get that, you're going to have to calibrate your remote inside of Liftoff. There is an issue that I have, especially with the DJI FPV Remote 3. You're going to make sure when you have your throttle all the way down, the motors are off, and when you turn the throttle up, the motors accelerate and move faster. Same thing with your pitch. When you pitch up, the drone is going to tilt down. So pitching up will be tilting the drone down. When you want to roll right with the right stick, the drone is going to be rotating to the right. So that's one thing you just need to make sure. Sometimes you have to click invert on the calibration, and for some reason Liftoff has the FPV remote backwards in some scenarios when I recalibrate it. So you don't want to learn FPV and then get out and connect to your drone and realize everything you learned was backwards. So left stick is going to be your throttle control when you go up and down, and then when you move that left and right, that's your yaw. Right stick is going to be your pitch when you go up and down, and when you go ahead and move that left and right, that's going to be your roll. Once you have that correct, then you can go ahead and play with all your settings and just kind of have fun. Crash a bunch. You're going to crash so much, but you're going to find little things, you're going to reach little goals, and you'll eventually become better. Like I said, subscribe to the channel and I'll do a full FPV basics learning video for you guys, and I'll make sure you guys know everything that you need to know how to fly and get home safely. Now, some people may ask, how long should I fly in a simulator before I get my real drone? And whether you get a DJI Avata, Avata 2, custom FPV drone, whatever you decide to get, it's really going to be up to you. I would say when you're flying in Liftoff, can you take off and land without crashing? Can you orbit around something? Can you do a specific shot in mind without crashing? And it's okay if you can't. Like, you can practice in the real world, but I would definitely recommend doing it in an open field. The real world is a little bit different than the game, and no matter what, it's always going to feel just a little bit different, but it's as close to reality. And the main thing is you're learning the sticks and what buttons do what controls what on the drone. Before you know it, you'll get your first FPV drone, you'll get out flying, and then you're going to be able to fly something like this, a custom Bob 57 or the Avata 2 or whatever you want to fly. And, you know, I started just like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I really struggled, and I really wanted to document my journey on this YouTube channel, and that's what I did, and hopefully I inspired other people to fly. I've learned a lot from my YouTube comments, and I think a lot of my YouTube commenters have learned a lot from me, so it's really a win-win situation. I'm not going to know everything. I don't think the best people know everything, but it's one of those things where practice is going to make you better, and being better makes you more confident and gets you out more, and then you're going to make some mistakes, you'll hop back in Liftoff, and you'll be ready to fly and learn from your mistakes. So what are you waiting for, guys? Get your FPV remote, get Liftoff, start practicing. Pretty soon, you'll be taking this fake Liftoff mountain and turning it into a real mountain. With that said, that's all I have in this video. I hope that you guys get out in 2025 and chase your FPV goal and dreams. I'm going to leave you with my very first FPV video to show you that I made a lot of mistakes, and I hope you guys don't have to waste money and get things that you don't need yet. Like, I didn't need the goggles, I didn't need a drone, all I needed was a remote. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Subscribe to the channel. I'll get that video out with FPV basics in early 2025. Goodbye.